Now on to the continuation from the previous video. Appa's asked what they contribute to the relationship. I contribute emotionally to the relationship and household. My values don't reduce a person to their financial contributions, and, so I thought, my boyfriends don't either. I contribute to the household by helping to keep things organized, walking the dog, etc. We've been dating for a long time. I help him with things around the house when I can and provide him with emotional support in his work and personal life. Appa's unable to tolerate dancing in another part of the house, so she spends her days shopping or at the beach. It's hard to explain, but I usually have a greater tolerance for some outdoor places than I do in my house, because I expect to be able to unwind in my house, be in total safety, whereas outside I've braced myself for issues. On good days I spend time at the beach nearby the house, and occasionally shopping. App lists the accommodations she has made to the boyfriend impinging on her life. I've asked my boyfriend to work at scheduled times, so I can predict when he might be in his studio. Having a routine helps, and to check in with me about my energy levels. Occasionally change his schedule or try to keep a calmer environment when I'm having a low energy or anxious day. I would also prefer it if buyers didn't come to the house, but if unavoidable, that he meet with them on the back patio instead of them coming into the house. It is adjacent to his studio, as well as checking in with me about them arriving. This was the agreement to begin with, but he's brought buyers over when I'm not home, and I've arrived home early to find them there. Some ideas we've talked about are keeping to a schedule, so at least I can know the routine and try to manage my energy levels around it. I've also asked him, not in a bullying way, extremely nicely, if it's at all possible for him to just not dance when I'm at home, given the amount of stress it causes me. My reasoning is that people who work in an office or shop manage to get through the day without dancing because it might disturb their colleagues, so it doesn't seem too wild to request when there's a real issue. Then a different user posts to AITA, worried he is TA. Coincidentally, this AITA is from the boyfriend's perspective. AITA for telling my dependent girlfriend she's doomed? Girlfriend and I. Both late 20s. She moved in with me last year and is multiply disabled. Her move coincided with financial need on her part. I was able to support her, and I thought I was prepared to accommodate her other needs. I've sometimes needed to depend on others. Awesome friends have carried me. This made me committed to trying to make it work. It turns out that I fell short many times. A lot of tension grew around her sensory disorders, which made her vulnerable to upset from routine household things. I changed my lifestyle. New furnishings, minimizing sounds and smells, confining my work to one area of the house, restricting visitors and hobbies. Each time, a new issue popped up. Finally, she was agitated by my presence in the house at all, and I began to feel unwelcome. Yet she also required me to help her, emotionally and materially. My work suffered. Resentment grew. I gently pressed her to reach out to others for help, which met with resistance as she saw my suggestions as callousness. The rift widened. She became verbally hostile and more withdrawn. My mental health has its own quirks, so this made an impact on me. I've been struggling with guilt and depression. I reached a tipping point after missing work deadlines because it was easier to avoid the house than complete my work at home. I've worked hard to craft a career that brings me fulfillment, and I saw it collapsing. I went home, entered her room, and told her I can't continue. She lashed out about the ways in which she can't live alone. I opened my mouth. The words that came out are, "Well, it looks like you're doomed." I went on. If she can't live on her own, can't cope with others, and can't seek out other help, she is doomed, and that's that. I stopped short. The look on her face was of total horror and betrayal. It will haunt me. When I said it, I felt I'd been walking on eggshells for months, and that she needed to hear reality. Now I'm racked with regret and confusion. I've been staying in a hotel waiting to work out the logistics of living separately. She has refused to speak to me beyond texting that I've caused deep trauma with my statement. I need to know if I actually crossed that line. Please note, I'm not seeking advice on the relationship in general, which is over, but to morally weigh this utterance of mine. The relationship had already caused tensions with friends, and none of them are neutral enough to judge this. An acquaintance suggested I try here. Please give it to me straight. AITA quickly points out the story that's already been posted from the other perspective. Boyfriend responds. Commenter. There was a post a while back from woman who sounded a lot like this. Her boyfriend was a sculptor or artist, and she had a lot of sensory issues. She didn't like him working, didn't want him to listen to music, didn't like that he danced a little when he worked even if she couldn't see it, no job, no money, her sister kicked her out. She didn't like when he had customers over to buy the pieces. She ended up stealing his keys to his studio. Any of that sounding familiar? Boyfriend. Oh my god. That would be me, or rather, us, my humming and dancing when I work. Unconsciously for the most part. Sorry, I'm in a bit of shock. Is there a way to find this post? Thank you. Wow. I knew she held most of these opinions, but seeing it all written out. This is a lot to take in right now. Emotions were high and I wanted to give her space to process the breakup, expecting we would talk it through the next day, but so far, she's not ready to talk. Now on to the last story, posted by you, J.D. La Prophet. Girlfriend, 21F. Doesn't like the time I spend with my sister. Girlfriend, 21F. Doesn't like the time I spend with my sister. To get straight to the point, my girlfriend says that I spend too much time with my sister when I'm at home. And some context, we've been together 3 years and live in my mom's apartment. I'm currently taking online classes in the morning and working the rest of the day driving for Uber, so I'm not home very much, and when I am I'm usually in my room working on stuff. My girlfriend works every other day, and when she's off I pick her up and she rides with me as I work. My sister's 9 years old and is usually by herself most of the day. My mom works all day. Brother hardly pays attention to her, and she isn't really allowed outside. Frankly, I can't stand having her home all day because I know how lonely and isolating it must be for her. But as of now, I'm just not able to be there 24/7. Lately, I've tried to spend time with her when I get home, usually around 9 p.m., and we'll talk and watch TV together. My girlfriend apparently has an issue with this because I take too long. Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's more than 1 hour. But she'll pass by the room and say, "So I'm going to see you tomorrow?" In an annoyed and shitty tone that's been pissing me off lately. Personally, I don't see why this is such a big deal. She says that she doesn't want to be up all night waiting for me to get back to bed, and that I shouldn't expect her to be all nice and lovey-dovey when I get back. She says she wants to cuddle and spend time together after a long day, but she literally just watches TikTok until 1 a.m. and hardly even pays attention to me. Furthermore, if I go to take a shower, or do literally anything that doesn't involve her when I'm home, she'll make a big deal out of it and say I don't like spending time with her. We're together just about all day every day when she's not at work, which isn't very often. Lately she's been all, "I hate kids above the age of 6 inches," and saying, "Fuck them kids," whenever she hears anything about them. The more she says it, the more it irritates me because obviously, I have a sister in the age range she claims to hate. It feels as though everything that involves my sister annoys the shit out of her, and I just needed to rant. We got in a fight and said it was weird that I spend so much time with her. I don't know what she was implying, and when asked about it she said she didn't want to argue. What to do, and I just wanted to put this somewhere to get some input. Sorry for the length. Dr. Girlfriend says I spend too much time with sister and not with her, said it's weird. It's pissing me off and would like input.